Welcome to Sacred Success Salon, where you'll get to discover how to own your power and confidence so you can live your purpose and prosperity. My name is Anna Kowalska. I am your hostess, and today I am excited to have a conversation with Jessica Page. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you. I'm so excited and I'm honored to be on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to see where our conversation goes. So let me just introduce you to our audience. Jessica is the creator of Grind to Glory, which is what we'll be talking about. She's an intuitive life and business coach and recognized internationally as an expert in a field of personal transformation. Her mission is helping entrepreneurs experience more joy, fulfillment, love, and abundance without the grind of working really, really hard, struggling, and sacrificing, which is everything we're talking about Sacred Success Salon. I love it. It's such a perfect fit. Welcome, Jessica.
Well, thank you, sister.
So awesome to have you. All right, so let's talk about Grind to Glory. How did it come about?
Yeah, well, it came about because I had been in the grind for so long, right? It's like these problems that we have, they turn into really this beautiful movement if you allow and work through them. And so for me, I own several businesses. I owned a fitness business in New York. I owned a global coaching company with my husband for fitness entrepreneurs. And I started to just see these patterns show up over and over and over again. So I was this serial entrepreneur, but I had these deep beliefs that I feel like society reinforces and our family might reinforce and our old limiting beliefs reinforce. And it's that things need to be hard. Like in order, there's like probably 100 sayings that we could Google, right? Around like, in order for us to, be happy, it has to be a struggle or it has to be hard or all these things. And so I had this belief that I saw like seeded into everything. And it was like showing up in these patterns I saw in my business, showing up in like how I felt in order. Like it was almost like my worthiness was tied to how hard I worked. And if I didn't really work and struggle and things didn't feel like this tremendous amount of force going into launching a project or getting a couple clients, it was like I wasn't deserving of it. And so I just started to realize and look at all these patterns and how I had built these businesses really birthed in this grind mentality where so many people live. It's like this hustle or feeling like we've got to struggle for a certain period of time until we get to wherever we're going. And right, like you and I know that energy is everything. And so if we keep struggling and sacrificing and grinding, that's just what we're going to get more of. It's like you don't ever get to the place that you're not doing that if that's the energy that you're in.
Yeah.
So it was like I had, business coaches for over a decade, and they were very like masculine driven business coaches. And so I learned a ton, but I had never really had a more soul aligned or spiritual business coach. And I just got so fed up and so sick of hitting these plateaus, of not making the amount of money that I wanted to make and not making the impact. And so I just went on this, I'll call it a divine rabbit hole of like this quest of doing the inner work, of releasing these limiting beliefs and these blocks. And so to me, it's this movement of moving from the grind, however that would be, birthed or explained for you, into a place of glory, which is where you're in your divine feminine, which is where it's ease, it's flow. It's like you don't have to push and force. You can allow, total shift in your personal life and your business life. And so it's this obsession that like me going on this journey of healing through this birthed my movement and my business, which I was totally not expecting.
Wow, that's really great. And I love how you brought up that so much of our self-worth can come, and usually does, from how hard did I work to get there. Like you brought up so many cliche statements about hustle and if you don't work hard for it, you won't appreciate it, right? Yeah, if it's easy, then you won't value it. You got to put work into it to make it count. I mean, I love that you brought that up, especially for women. There is this like badge of honor and up until, right, there is this badge of honor for, look how hard I worked for this. And I hear women still talk like that. I worked so hard to get here. Like, now they own their success, because they've worked so hard to get here. And I love that you are saying that there is another way to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
just believe that there's two different pathways.
Hmm.
The first pathway is the traditional pathway, which is where
Hmm.
I lived for so long. And, you know, growing up, it was like I wanted to make my daddy proud. And what made him proud was working really hard because he's an entrepreneur as well. And so we look at these patterns and where they were birthed from, and it makes so
Yeah.
much sense why I am the way I am. But it's also this beautiful invitation to rewrite that. And so that first pathway is where I feel like 99% of everyone on this planet is living. And it's like the grind, it's the hustle. It's like we all know people, or maybe us ourselves are in that space.
Hmm.
And then the other pathway is like we get to choose that it doesn't have to be hard, that it can be easy. It doesn't mean that we're not working for it. You and
Yes.
I are both like, we can get in and be intimate with our work.
Yes.
And it's just this different energy of like allowing the clients to come with more ease, allowing, you know, it could be writing an email, it could be launching a project, but allowing the divine guidance to come in and really birthing something and doing your work from that energy. And that's where I feel like, you know, the spiritual work that we're doing and really like blazing this trail for more people to shift over into like this pathway of ease, because oh my gosh, it's like
Yes. Yeah.
it's yeah, go ahead.
So what is, did you hear the question come up? So what is the one thing, what was the most difficult for you? Let me start there. What was the most difficult for you to shed, get rid of, like in everyday experience? What was the most difficult to let go of and still create the results?
Yeah, I mean, it really was like just letting go of the grind itself, letting go of um, this need to work a bazillion hours. I mean, I had like no boundaries in terms of, you know, I would work on the weekends, I would work at night, I would sacrifice, you know, my kids' schedules and family time with them. And so it's like really the sacredness of forming these boundaries and really honoring myself,
Hmm.
and also allowing myself to like do the things that bring me joy, like as I'm building, as I'm creating. And I think I can remember my first spiritual coach being like, okay, like in order for anything to shift, like you have to slow down. And like I even talk fast, right? So I'm just like
Yeah.
fast in motion. And he's like, you have to slow down and really do the things that bring you joy right now. And like that's what's going to start to shift this cycle and start to transform. And I remember thinking like that seemed insane to me. Like it doesn't even match up. Like if I slow down, how am I going to get to where I want to be faster, right?
Yeah.
And so it was this dynamic of allowing myself to really surrender into like, well, what is possible, and just honor myself and create these boundaries. And I still like my shadow self, like around launches, around things that are coming up, like I can very easily slip back into the grind.
Yeah.
But now it's like knowing what comes up for me. So my body will tell me very quickly, or my family will tell me when I'm in the grind. And that really like lines me back up and puts me back on the path that really feels more divine, that feels more creative, that feels
Yeah.
more flow.
Yeah, this is really great. So I'm going to ask you a practical question. What does it feel like in your body when you know that you are on, like, you're like, oh my God, I just crossed over back to grind? And I'm asking because there will be people, there will be women watching right now. I'm sure you guys are asking this question yourself. How do I, there is letting go, there are all these ways, but then how does it feel like in a body, especially when you have let go of the grind? What does it feel like when you cross over back into it, like right at the edge, when you just cross into it? What does it feel like?
Yeah. It's like your body knows how to communicate with you. It's such a good question. And a lot of times we're so in the grind
Hmm.
that we don't even realize like what's coming up and how our body is communicating. So
Yeah.
that takes like tuning in and slowing down too, right? But for me it's like this almost this tightness and this anxiousness. Like not feeling like you've taken a deep exhale like in a day or in 2 days. Like if I'm
Ah,
like, oh, you know, or for me it's my throat, or I'll get like pain in my neck. So it's like these certain parts of my body where I'll actually feel the tension, where I'll feel like the grind almost like absorbing into my body.
Hmm.
And it's like in layers, like how the universe communicates is like a little subtle thing, and then it's a little heavier, and then it's like, you're just flat out sick because you weren't paying attention to like the more subtle ways the body was communicating.
Hmm.
And so I always know, like, if I'm getting a sore throat or if I'm getting like neck pain or back pain, it's always my body saying like, I think we're out of alignment, and so we can slow down, we can like take a breath or go out in nature and reconnect.
Oh, this is so great. I love that you gave us very specific ways. You get a sore throat, you get a little pain, and so often it's so easy to ignore it. I get a sore throat. Okay, I gotta take a lozenge or drink some herbal tea, right? Instead of saying, hey, there is a signal from my body letting me know something is off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so great. So I think you started to give us something that you like to do, but what is your favorite go-to? Especially if you are, see, my throat is responding to your,
I love it. We're so connected.
I know, right? Seriously. So what is your favorite go-to? If you are like, things are on your list, especially if you're in a launch or like, there are things that need to get done and there are people relying on you, your team, your clients, and then you get this sore throat or a little pain. What's your favorite go-to?
Nature, always.
Mm.
It's like I love to start my day with it, but it doesn't always happen, but it's definitely nature. And sometimes it's not like, maybe I have a couple things. Okay, there's so much coming through. There's so many things I want to
Great.
say about this.
Love it.
But like, I can also very easily slip into like serious perfectionism,
Hmm.
right? So I'm like an overcoming perfectionist, and that was something that I really had to like surrender into and rewrite as well. And so sometimes it's like I could have the list of things and be starting to feel these signs from the universe of like, you're slipping back into shadow self or slipping back into grind. I know that's where the flow does not live. I know that's where I'm not going to put out the energy that I want people to feel from me. And so it's like I could want to go for an hour walk in nature, which would be perfect. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just not always possible. And so I have to allow myself to like, well, what's possible in this moment to help me kind of connect and like feel into this and shift my energy and my vibration. And sometimes it's just like going outside right off my deck and like putting my feet in the grass for 2 minutes and really like those divine, it's like the intention behind it, right? It's like that sometimes is just enough to recharge me and me to be like, okay, I get it. Like I'm resetting, I'm feeling good. And so I think I can get hooked in like, you can read all the books and do all the things and think like a meditation has to look this way or a connection to kind of reset has to look this way. But I think it's just whatever feels good, and it shifts depending on your space. And we just have to be in flow with that too. And my dog Rocky says hi, so he's feeling
Oh,
it too. He's
hi, Rocky. I love that. We were just laughing before for you guys watching, so you can be inside our conversation. Right before we got on the interview, my dog started barking, and then Rocky started barking.
he's 14, and so he's got this like yelpy bark. I've like laid him down before, so I'm hoping he kind of works it out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like it's connecting with nature. It's taking a super long shower. It's going to anywhere where there's water. It could be like one of my favorite places to walk is actually we have this cemetery behind our house, and it's this gorgeous cemetery with waterfalls, and like so I just love to go where it's like peaceful and I can just surrender into kind of the cleansing of the water. It might mean totally unplugging and going to the movies or watching something on TV. Like it doesn't have to be something so sacred too. It's just how can I disconnect
Wow. Yeah.
and
This is really powerful. I love what you just said. It doesn't have to be anything that has to do with crystals and meditation, right? It can be something that whatever you are in tune to right now, that will pull you out of where you are and into the flow and into joy, right? Like into different state. This is so great. So in that moment, what happens with your to-do list?
honestly, like it loosens its grip a little bit. It's
Mm.
like I find that when I'm slipping back into the grind, right, I can get caught up in like there's a few, like 1, 2, or 3 things that feel really powerful and feel like these are the things that are going to actually move me forward. But then there's like a dozen things that are just on my list that really, it's like, it's almost this invitation to like look at or do a brain dump of like, what am I doing that is not serving me? What like have I taken on that, like, it's kind of like stories. It's like, what have I taken on my daily schedule of going, 100 miles a minute?
Yeah.
And what can I just release? What do I not need to take on? So it's like, honestly, when you pull yourself out of something, it's like you could go into like, but the stuff's still there and I still have all the
Right.
things. For me, it's like, how can I go back to it with a different lens? How can I like breathe through this and clear through some of it all, hand off some to my admin, or just take some stuff off my plate and kind of reset the to-do list also.
Yeah, that is so great, because I already heard when you were talking about go take a walk, go to the movies, I heard from our audience this like, who's gonna handle stuff, right? And that goes for anything. I can imagine that goes for laundry, right? Not just in business, but that goes for laundry, food shopping, or all the other, like, when you have a family. I don't have children, but I know when you have children, and you do, there are all these other things that come in that pull you in the grind energy, right? That have nothing to do with your business.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And yeah, it's just like, it's really this invitation to like relook at things. Some things are like, I'm not going to shift anything to do with my kids
Right.
off to someone else, or some things are like compulsory, but it's even like shifting how we look at those things too, because sometimes like the busy work and just kid life and cooking dinner for them and doing after school activities and work, like that can seem like we can have this sort of weighted feeling and sensation around that, or we can shift it and like change the story about how we're viewing those things too.
Yeah.
So it's really like looking through things with different lenses and then shifting our thoughts around that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So who comes to you? Do you mostly work with women who are like, I'm done, like, I'm at the verge of breaking down, throwing a towel in? Or do you find that people are waking up much earlier to, hey, this is not gonna work the way I'm doing it, that something else has to come in a place? Where do you find more pull from?
Mm, I would say it's interesting because that dynamic has shifted just recently. Like I'm finding now that like the energy in the universe right now, like people are waking up sooner.
Yeah.
Right. And there's like so many people doing this beautiful work. Like I love what this series stands for. And there's so many people that are like being awoke to this shift, and like there is a different way. But before, it was always like people who were just like so like I can't take it anymore. I'm like so stressed out. I'm so burned out. I'm so overwhelmed. Like something has to give. Like this is my last straw before I like give up on all of it. And now it's shifting. It's like now people are like really open to doing the inner work sooner before it gets so bad. But that just shifted like in the last several months.
Yeah, yeah, I totally led with this question. Like it was, it was almost a setup, because I'm like, I know, right? I just wanted to hear from you, your experience. So you just confirmed what we've been talking about. Totally. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
So what are some practices that you love to bring into your space? Something you do every day, or something you do on a regular basis that helps you stay connected to the source, and then talk about like, what do you bring in? Who do you bring in to help you?
Hmm. Yeah, so it's always nature, and if it's not nature, it's like connection to nature through meditation. Or while I'm showering, like imagining the water as a rainfall or something. Like it's my connection to nature is so so powerful. So that's like an everyday thing. But it's also, getting in a workout, it's reading time. I know that so many so many listeners possibly like it's this like I'll have 8, 10 books going at a time where I'm in two
Yeah.
different reading, and right. And that was like a practice of breaking free of perfectionism too, of like not this need of reading from front to back, just
Yeah.
reading what I felt led to. So always reading. And then it's like I love my oracle cards, I love my crystals, which are all around me, and it's connecting to my guides, to my support team, and really just like calling in light
Mm-hmm.
and allowing me to like really bring light into, the people that I'm coaching that day, or the people that really are like are needing to hear the call, to know that there's support, and know that there's, I don't even want to say better way, it's just knowing that there's
Different way.
yeah, like there's something else other than being stuck where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And so just spending a lot of time around just creating like a container for myself to continue to transform and be coached, and do the things that I know are going to continue to raise my frequency and release the things that are coming up for me that are holding me back and blocking me, so that I can really show up fully to my clients.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. Calling in the support. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question, and I have no idea what your answer is going to be, and I'll be so pleasantly surprised if it is this. When you say, I love playing with you, Jessica. I just love it. When you say you call in your support team, what does that look like?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's my guides
Mm-hmm.
for one. So my spirit guides, and it might be, Archangel Michael that day. It might be my grandma is a divine guide for me. So it's just calling in my spiritual team, but it also may be like calling in like when I'm in nature, it's like calling the angel of trees. Or I'm like out in the sun, it's like calling in the angel of the sun, or the angel of knowledge, or wherever I'm feeling like pulled and want to lean into that day. It's like, where am I needing support, and calling on wherever I'm needing support, and really just trusting in that divine guidance.
Perfect. I love this. I love it. I was looking to have a conversation with somebody in the salon about an author who wrote a beautiful book, Hiring from Heavens, and she's going to be on in the next salon. I didn't get her in time, but it's this idea of you can actually, and I love how you just said, calling in on the angel of knowledge. What? Right? Like, I love the conversation of like, if you're having a marketing breakdown, call on the angel of communication or the angel of message, right?
Oh, that is like, this feels really powerful to talk about. I'm like full body chills right now.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just this, again, it goes back to the grind. It goes back to this masculine doing energy where we feel like we've got to get in there and do all the work on our own. And like, it's tied to our worthiness. So there's a lot going on there. And it's shifting into knowing that you not only can shift your own energy and frequency, but you literally have like, I feel like if people knew the level of guidance and support that is just so much at like, we can just call in. All we have to do is like vocalize and call in exactly where we're needing guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And if people knew the level of divine guidance that they had at their fingertips, like we would never feel lonely. We would never feel unworthy. We would never feel stuck in our fear. It's like, it just really like, it's like this blanket of ease to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me if this is true for you, but I constantly have to remind myself.
Oh, yeah. Always, right? It's like, I think what makes what makes us entrepreneurs is our ability to like get in there and do the work. And so yeah, I feel like that's the beauty in it, is like that's what allows us to really craft into creating this life of fulfillment and freedom and abundance. But at the same time, oh my gosh, always and if we don't remind our own self, there is some reminder that's being reflected back to us that is like, oh yes, I needed to receive this message.
Like your family knocking on your door. Hey, hungry.
Yeah, something is going to show up, and then it's like, oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
love that.
needing something from you, or it's so interesting in how the universe is always communicating, right? Like everything that we need to see and hear and do, if we just slow down just enough to listen.
So beautiful, so powerful. And literally, as we having this conversation, you know how you just said you had a whole body response to that, calling in the support. I literally keep like hearing knocking right now.
Mhm.
So this is the call for you guys watching, an invitation for like, this is how I'm getting it. It's like it's knocking, right? It's knocking at your door to invite in the energy that and trust that you are so supported. Oh,
Yeah.
Jessica, I love that. Thank you for showing up and being open to bring this, help me bring this into the salon in the
Mm,
way that you just did.
it's such an honor. And it feels like, as you were saying the knock, it's like, ah, like, yes, it is so powerful. And it just feels like so much is going to shift for people. Like, it feels like such a high frequency conversation.
Yeah, and yes, absolutely. And then trusting what comes through, right? Because what I'm hearing now from our audience, thank you guys. What I'm hearing now is that there is still this level of mistrust that even if you are open to hearing and you get a simple solution and you get support from somewhere where you're like, how did this happen? There is this pool, this conditioned pool of like, this was too easy. I can't trust it. This was too easy. What am I missing?
Yeah, always. And I mean, here's the thing, it's like, when you're connecting with guides, with angels, with source, there is this level of like imagination. Like, you've got to be able to allow yourself to go back to like the fun kid like version of like just exploring and imagining. And I think if you're new to this at the beginning, that's the whole game. It's like you have to allow yourself to just whatever comes up, just trust with it and play with it. And that's how you kind of strengthen that muscle of connection. And it might feel weird or like this doesn't feel real, maybe I'm making this up, but you just have to like follow that flow of just trusting whatever comes up.
Mhm.
And I think over time you do build this, it's like awakening your intuition for the first time. It's like you learn to trust it and that signal gets stronger.
Mhm.
And then the way we are moving today, it's like you could start to explore connecting and calling in these angels and getting the guidance where you need, support. But
Mhm.
like it might feel weird for such a short period of time.
Whoop. And just like that, things happen. Sometimes we can't control them, right? And we have to flow with it. And it's funny because it's exactly when we were talking about trusting, right?
And being playful and like, oh my gosh, I love it. There's no accidents, right?
No, none whatsoever. Absolutely, absolutely random. And Roseanne, if you're one of the, if you're a viewer in Salon, because I don't know who you are, I don't know what message you had for us, but thanks for showing up.
We are open to receive.
Yes, yes, it's so amazing. And sorry, Jessica, we interrupted your flow of thought. Yet I know we were talking about trusting and playing with it, right? Playing with what comes in.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, when you're calling in the divine guidance, and if it's new to you, it's just allowing yourself to just like not take it so seriously and like just to be playful with it. And in a relatively quick period of time, because like what I find is like what used to take people years to transform and to do, whether it's intuition or whether it's connecting to your guides, whatever it is spiritually, like we can do so fast. And
Hmm.
so you'll build that muscle and you'll have this team, the support system. So it's like whether it's relationships or work or projects, it could be anything, but to call in the level of support you need
Hmm.
is amazing. Like that's freedom. Like you don't have to work so hard because you have this resource, this abundant resource of anything that you really need support with, you have access to just like that.
Wow, yes. And that is so powerful. Just knowing that energy is speeding up and there is more opening up in the universe. So it is a lot easier for us to connect now. So trusting that it could happen just like that. Don't question it. It could be that easy. Could be as easy as somebody showing up like Roseanne, right? I love this. Oh, Jessica, I am having so much fun with you. This is so awesome. Thank you so much for bringing in you're bringing your wisdom and playfulness and playing with me here in this conversation. It's really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's such an honor. I mean, seriously, it's like I love the work that you are doing. I love what you stand for, and I
Thank
just feel
you.
Yeah, I just feel it's an incredible message that so many people are really at this point open to receiving.
Mhm.
And I'm just excited for what's in store for all the listeners.
Yes, so exciting. So I know what's in store for them from you because you have a gift to share.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's called the Practical Steps to the Fulfillment of Your Dreams. And so it's this hour training where I really walk you through these spiritual, really, they're like these spiritual laws almost, where they're easy, they're not hard. And they're these small shifts that you can make in really taking you through different things. Like, for one example, it's like the law of giving and receiving, and
Mhm.
how that shows up in our world, and how a lot of empaths and intuitives are really good at the giving, but then there's some stagnant energy into receiving. And so I
Yeah.
take you through this journey of these 7 spiritual laws, which are the actual practical steps to
Mhm.
step into more fulfillment, more abundance, more freedom. And so it's our training, and I'm so excited for you to step into those processes.
Love it, love it. It's so perfect. So you guys, you get to claim Jessica's gift by clicking the button right below this video. You know the drill. Click the button, claim the gift. Sounds amazing. And I haven't had a chance to view it yet, but I cannot wait to see it. So it's 7 steps. Say it again.
So it's the practical steps to the fulfillment of your dreams.
Oh, who would not want that? I love that. It's amazing. Claim your gift, get into Jessica's world, learn about grind to glory because it's such a powerful way to live. It's so amazing. So, Jessica, I have one closing question that I get to ask every guest.
Right.
What is your definition of success for the world?
Oh, wow. Honestly, I think it is like what's coming to me is light. And so I think it's really shifting this dynamic of moving from, it's along the lines of grind too, but it's moving from victimhood, moving from hatred, moving from jealousy into the light. And so it's really bringing in light and really welcoming and inviting more people, which is what your series stands for, into the world of the inner work, into the world of light and connectedness and oneness.
Oh, juicy, yummy. Thank you.
That's such a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for playing and answering it. It was really beautiful. Thank you again for being here with us, Jessica, and sharing your wisdom. So beautiful and powerful.
Thank you.
And you guys will see you at the next conversation. Make sure you claim Jessica's gift for practical steps to fulfillment of your dreams. Yes.